Hey, welcome to the Mighty Meeple. I'm your host, Eric Schwartz. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another prototype that's heading to Kickstarter, this time a game called Compounded by Andrew Lyman Butler. He sent me this prototype so that I could play it and get an idea of what the game is, and then share my thoughts with you. I'm going to do just that for you. But first off, as always, we're going to go to the table, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this game and show you how to play it. If at any time you want to jump ahead to the end where I just give my review, just check down in the descriptions and there will be some timestamps that will take you there. But otherwise, let's just go to the table.
Alright, to start off with our components, we have the board, which you can see looks a lot like a Scrabble board, set out in a grid pattern with bonus squares and everything. And in fact, I have a Scrabble board here to show you as a comparison, so it looks just almost exactly like it. Grid pattern, then you also have your bonus squares, which has double letters, double words. But instead, on Compounded, you're not building words, you're building compounds. So you have double elements and double compounds. So that's the board. Not a new system, not a new game mechanic here, but recycling an old game mechanic to create a new learning experience. So looking at the tiles now, again, just like Scrabble, but instead of letter tiles, you have element tiles. So we have sodium and oxygen and carbon and potassium and sodium. Let's see, is that manganese maybe? Or magnesium, that's manganese. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to pull out my periodic table, but we've got nitrogen and hydrogen. And and they have a lot more other elements available, but as you can see here at the bottom of the tile, they have the charge that these elements carry, because you're going to have to balance out your compounds when you build them. So in this case, with say, look at this oxygen has a -2 charge, and the hydrogen has a +2 charge, so you need 2 hydrogens to balance out the 1 oxygen to make H2O, which we commonly know as water. But if you look up here at the top corner, you'll see a number, and that's the score that the tile gives you whenever you use it on the board. Alright, so how do we play this game? As you can see here, I got the board set up, and each player is going to start off with 10 tiles. So you're going to grab the bag here. Which, by the way, this bag does not come with the game. This is something I supplied with the just for demonstration purposes. The final version might have a bag, but in this prototype at least, I provided this. So he's going to look through the tiles here, and he's going to see what elements he has and what compounds he can make with it. And in this example, I think we're going to go with what I showed you earlier in the component section. So we're going to take 2 hydrogens and an oxygen, and those will balance out. It's a binary compound. So 2 different elements, hydrogen and oxygen, and just create the appropriate number that will balance out the compound. And then you go back in the bag and you draw 3 more tiles to bring the tile count back up to 10. So just like Scrabble, basically. And so the next player, he's going to make a compound, but he's going to make a polyatomic ion. We'll learn a little more about that here in a bit. But he's going to, let's look at this. He's going to make chlorite. And chlorite by itself is not a balanced ion, so he needs to balance it out with something. He's going to build it off of this hydrogen here, and so make hydrogen chlorite. And he's going to receive a bonus with that as well, because he built over a bonus square. And you just take the numbers at the top of the tiles, and you give yourself a score after each turn and add it to your previous score. So what are some legal moves that you can do in this game? So it comes with a quick reference here, and as you can see, you can make diatomic elements, those that are naturally occurring. Single element compounds, hydrogen peroxide and carbon monoxide are some special exceptions that are legal, and then binary compounds, which require 2 different elements, but their charges must balance, kind of like H2O, the water. Or you can make compounds with polyatomic ions. Well, what are polyatomic ions? They are ionic compounds that are not balanced by themselves, so they need to be balanced out by another element. So let's look at make a situation here. Let's see, thiocyanate. So we have a sulfur, a carbon, and a nitrogen here. And if you look over on the cheat sheet, you'll see that it has a -1 balance. So it needs another element to balance it out. So we're going to use this hydrogen here and make a hydrogen thiocyanate. And so it becomes a balanced compound. Now, you cannot put the hydrogen in the middle like this here, because it breaks up the polyatomic ion. So if you make a polyatomic ion, it needs to stay together. It cannot be broken up. So you need to put the hydrogen on the outside, either at the beginning or the end. Either way works. So we're back to the board, and you can see we're further along. More compounds have been put on the board. And this player is just going to place one tile, because it works right here. And just like in Scrabble, when you place a tile and next to other tiles, you have to make sure you look at both the vertical and the horizontal. So this works because chlorine is a naturally occurring binary compound, or diatomic element. And then it also matches up with the sodium there as a binary compound. So sodium, chlorine balance each other out, and then the chlorine in the vertical is a legal move as well. And so you collect the score off of that. And then he takes the last tile out of the bag, which means that the game is going to be coming to an end soon here. And then next player is going to continue on his turn. He's going to build a new compound, and that's how you go until you get the end, and player with the highest score wins.
And that's how you play compounded. So as you can see, it's just like Scrabble, except for instead of collecting letters and building words, you're collecting elements and building compounds. In fact, if you look at an old Scrabble board, set up exactly the same way. You have your grid pattern, you have your double letter and double score, double words, stuff like that. And in this case, the original Scrabble board set up in an X grid with your bonuses, whereas this one's set up in more of a diamond grid around the center. So, but you're not learning like a brand new game, brand new system here. He's just taking an old system, old game, and rebranding it for a new learning experience. And I think he's done a very good job with that. This was a good learning game, in my opinion. As I played this, I was remembering things that I had forgotten since high school. It's been over 15 years since I've done anything with compounds and elements, because I just haven't had to use it in my job. But as I played this and as I went through and I was building more and more compounds, a lot of the old rules were coming back to me. I was relearning them. And so this is a good learning game, in my opinion. Now, let me say, I just said it's a good learning game, and it is exactly that. This is not going to be a game that you pull out on your average game night with your buds and everything. When all the guys and gals come over, it's not a resource management. It's not a dungeon crawling or anything like that. This is a learning game, and unless you're like all massive chemistry enthusiasts, this is not going to be just an entertainment game. This is more of a game for learning. It's to make learning entertaining. And so this is better suited for like a high school classroom setting, or middle school, depending on the level that you're at. But it's more of a classroom setting or more of a study hall setting. Again, unless you're chemistry enthusiasts. In fact, I would love to see a game of this played by my father-in-law and all his colleagues. I played this with him, and he's a cancer research doctor. Let me just say that I got my butt whooped on an epic level. But I expected that, but I wanted to play it with him to get his opinion on it and how solid it is, in regards to the laws of science. And he said that it works very well. The rules were well written for building the compounds. It doesn't break any rules or laws. But it just takes those laws and put it in a system that helps to learn them and remember them, and it's going to be a great educational tool. And in fact, he said that he is looking forward to trying this out in his classroom. He, in addition to being a research doctor, he also teaches part-time a high school chemistry class, and so he's excited to try this out in his classroom to see how well it works out with his students in helping them to learn and remember these systems that they learn in building compounds. My final thoughts on this, I think, one, the components that were sent to me, in this prototype version, again, prototype, were good quality. And I feel like if he put this much quality in the prototype, I imagine that the final version is going to be just as good a quality, if not better. And so I feel like that's going to be good. The whole experience of the game and learning through playing was good. Um, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10, guys. Now remember, I'm not grading it as a game. I'm grading it as an educational game. So making learning fun. For what it is, it does it very well. It's a very solid game, very solid rules. 10 out of 10. So if you are a parent with kids that are going to be going through chemistry, middle school or high school or even college, this is a game that you might want to consider. If you are a teacher that teaches sciences, this is a game that you definitely want to consider. This is going to be a great addition to your classroom. If you help people study, great game to have. As a study aid. If you're just a gamer, looking for a good game, maybe not for you, again, unless you're chemistry enthusiasts. But definitely check this out, guys. If you fall in any of those categories of, having kids or students that are going to be learning this subject, this is definitely something that you want to check out. 10 out of 10. Go over to Kickstarter. The details are down in the description below. If you have any questions about this game, put them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them. If I can't answer it myself, I'll ask the designer and I'll get that answer back to you as quick as I can. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy what I'm doing here on this channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It'll let you know anytime I upload a new video, but whether it be a review, playthrough, unboxing, anything about board games, that's what I do here. But I enjoyed having you come along today and check out this game with me. So until next time, game on, my friend.